What's up everybody, this is BR here, and today I want to give you something to really think about. And that specifically has to do with matchmaking. And let me ask you, have you ever queued up for matchmaking and just felt like the worst? And started blaming the matchmaking system for all the terrible quality matches that you've been given? Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be sweatiness. It could be something like terrible teammates, or maybe bot lobbies that just don't feel that much fun. Things that are out of your control but aren't necessarily malicious. So I am throwing out griefers and throwers out of the equation. So it would also include things like high ping and stuff like that. Well, I think you would agree that those are legitimate reasons to dislike a matchmaking system. And then that made me beg the question, well, what if we had the choice in what lobbies we would join? Would things get dramatically better? Or would stuff stay around the same? Well, we really don't have to think about it because that's pretty much what PC gaming used to be so many years ago. It almost feels like a lifetime, but most games used to have a community browser whenever playing matches. And recently I started playing Open Fortress again, a community mod of Team Fortress 2 that makes it into a deathmatch style. And unsurprisingly, as it is a mod, there aren't that many players or that many servers available. So needless to say, the chances of me not enjoying my time on Open Fortress seemed very high, especially since the server that I was playing on was a European server that I was nowhere nearby. I had almost 200 ping and most of those players were much more experienced than I was. I was at a severe disadvantage and it's safe to say that, well, I wasn't gonna have a good time. Except, I very much did. I actually enjoyed my time there even if I was at a severe disadvantage. I really couldn't use projectiles because, well, they were very terrible to use on a high ping. Instead, I resorted to just using hit scan weapons like the shotgun or the super shotgun or the sniper rifle. I mean, every now and then I would pick up a projectile, but it really didn't benefit me that much. And even though I kept on losing, I was still having a lot of fun. Now that made me think a little, was it really the quality of the match that was hindering my experience? Or was it something external? Cause let me tell you, to be honest, I have been very mad at matchmaking recently because of just how terrible the quality of the matches are. And I always blame that invisible AI in the sky that it just wasn't my fault, it was these goddamn matches. But here I was having the time of my life with some of the most severe disadvantages that would just make me frustrated. But I wasn't. So what gives? What was the reason? Well, after a while of thinking, I actually thought, well, maybe it's because I actually chose to play on the server that I wanted to play on. I think what really helped me not get frustrated and blaming the all-knowing, all-powerful matchmaking system in the sky was the mere fact that I chose to join the EU server. Of course, there was plenty of other choices of North American servers to choose from, but many of them weren't that populated, and, well, I just really wanted to play in a populated game. Something similar to what a matchmaking system would do. It would try to find you a game with enough players. But while a matchmaking system would try to queue you up with people of similar skill, I was joining a server that I was at a severe disadvantage of with clearly veterans of the game. And if that were to happen on a matchmaked game, I would get severely pissed about the matchmaking system putting me in such a terrible lobby. But I think because I chose to join that server regardless of my ping and the low amount of skill level that I had, the game was a lot more fun. I was able to play laid back even if it was technically a sweaty lobby. I didn't care so much about losing the match because, well, it was just a fun game. Of course, I did get better over time, so that also was a huge plus. But I think by avoiding using a matchmaking system as a crutch for blaming, it really did make the game a lot more enjoyable because, well, who else are you gonna blame? You're the one who joined the server. You could have chosen to play something else, but you just really wanted to play this game. Now, I'm not saying that matchmaking systems should be removed tomorrow in favor of community servers just because of this one experience. There are plenty of benefits from matchmaking systems that are just not available with community servers, such as a guarantee of service. But it does make me think a little, and I hope it does make you think as well. Could this slight change in perspective really be the solution to all these issues with skill-based matchmaking? What about sweatiness? And what about that competitive mindset? Could this approach really work with the esports-centric identity that most games take on? Or is it pretty much impossible because of the types of games that exist nowadays, such as with battle royales? Keep in mind, of course, I'm only talking about casual matchmaking. I'm not talking about competitive. Of course, competitive is going to need some sort of matchmaking. But most players, most of the time, don't play competitive. They usually just play a quick matchmaked match because they like the game. Again, it's a little ridiculous that I have to make this so clear, but as you can tell from a lot of the comments in my first video, man, a lot of people really just don't get that. People don't want to get good, they just want to play the game. But tell me what you think. Leave your opinions down in the comments section down below. If you found this video interesting, like it if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it. If you'd like to see more content like this in the future, make sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.